Last call of the day. Tom in Liverpool, thank you so much for waiting. Please tell me you're not here to talk about giants in the Bible.
No, I have to say you two guys are the best two guys because Tom takes the humor part and you take the analytical part.
Hey.
Anyway, I wanted to mention a thing I ran into on YouTube, one of these recommended things.
Yeah.
It's Rama Trees, and it's about this kid who decides he's an atheist, and it brings him all the way through everything he encounters in his life. And I thought it was interesting, and one of the things he pointed out was the problem with Jesus and Lazarus.
Okay.
Okay, you know, Lazarus dies, right?
Yep.
And Jesus goes to town, to the town. He's going to raise him from the dead, right? Why does Jesus cry? Hello?
I don't recall that level of detail in the story myself. But.
Yeah, it says Jesus wept when he talked to his sisters.
Oh, well,
and it's like,
I can...
Jesus already knows, number one, he's going to bring him back.
Maybe he was going to out himself as a witch.
So here, no.
I got this.
No, so let me put my Southern Baptist hat on. Okay. Lazarus died, and would have potentially been in heaven or paradise or something else, and Jesus had to drag him back out of that, and that's why Jesus wept.
My next point. That was my next point.
Okay.
Why? What made him think that Lazarus wanted to come back?
Well, that was probably the other reason he cried, because he didn't take Lazarus's desires into consideration or had to set them aside in order to appease the family or make a statement or demonstrate his power. But yeah,
so that was kind of like being a show-off.
Sure, but you know, we're talking about a God that rained 10 plagues on Egypt, so showing off shouldn't come as any surprise to anybody in Volume 2.
And the next one was the Palm Sunday thing, where Jesus goes into town on the donkey and big parade and everything.
Yep.
And then a couple days later, somebody has to point out, which one is Jesus? Wasn't he just the guy on the donkey the other day? He went through the town.
Yeah, but maybe that guy wasn't there when he rode in on the donkey. These are, and I don't mean to be. I get it. We can have fun with a lot of these. Maybe I'm just too serious. But the silly apologetic stuff or counter apologetics, I literally have no interest in, because my goal is to raise real issues that will give people pause to reconsider why they believe. And I get it. I like to have fun. I just don't have as much fun on the show with crappy arguments. But
from my experience watching your show, is that they just don't care. They don't listen.
That may be.
It's the same arguments again.
But here's the thing.
We have an audience.
No, this is stop.
Don't touch the stove.
Stop. This is flawed. When you talk about people not changing their mind, this show's been on for 20 some odd years. It's not the same caller every time. People do, in fact, change their mind. Thousands upon thousands of people are now secular and atheists and skeptics because of what happened on this show. They may not listen immediately.
I know that.
Okay. Well, then don't say things like they just don't want to change their mind.
No, it's the next person who calls in, like he's got the best argument.
Yeah.
It's the same one.
But they may have never watched the show.
What happened last week?
They may have never watched the show before. You can't judge person A based on what person B did or said. But anyway, on that note, we're going to let you go. We've got sushi waiting and
a hungry audience.
Yeah, and great appreciation to the audience. Thanks to everybody who tuned in and listened. If you tuned in late, you can go back and watch my dissertation at the beginning about the current controversy.
Blessings, in other words.
Those are my thoughts and my thoughts only. I don't represent anybody else when I'm saying this. I don't even represent Stephen, who was the only other person I think I named by name. I'm telling you how I felt about it. Don't just trust something because somebody said so. And if your honest evaluation of this entire scenario after the fact is that I'm terrible and don't care, that's your prerogative. If that's the case, don't punish others for my mistakes. Don't punish others for Stephen's mistakes. Don't punish others for the board's mistakes. Don't punish others for certain members of the trans community's mistakes. This too shall pass, and we shall remember that we are building communities, and there were people here who cared for everybody and wanted nothing but the best and had the best intentions.